Leeds, covering all of the Tour de France here in Yorkshire.
The sights and sounds of the Tour de France as our county welcomes the world.
Very exciting. The cyclists get really worked up and you can hear them all shouting at each other. It's brilliant. It's really, really exciting.
From high street cafes to spectator hubs, from Leeds Town Hall to Home Moss.
I'm really looking forward to it coming through Yorkshire because it can show what a wonderful county we have.
12 presenters and dozens of reporters.
Good morning. We are on the route of the Tour de France in the heart of West Yorkshire.
And a camper van called Brian.
Your station for the Tour de France.
BBC Radio Leeds.
Welcome to Le Grand Départ. In just a few minutes, the ceremonial start of the Tour de France will officially begin right here, a few metres in front of me. I'm on the steps of Leeds Town Hall. This is something we've been waiting for more than a year. A chance to show off our beautiful landscape and wonderful people to the eyes of the world.
When people look back at this time, July 2014, this will be seen as a defining moment, if not the defining moment for the people of Yorkshire and beyond.
And this is a moment to savour. The world is watching West Yorkshire with our streets decked out in yellow and black and the colourful rainbow of the best 198 bike riders in the world who are on the start line of the Tour de France in the city of Leeds. From the heights of Halifax to the scenery of Keighley and the cheering crowds of Home Moss, we've got it all for you on BBC Radio Leeds.
My first Tour de France was in London in 2007 it started, and there was probably the best Grand Départ I've ever witnessed, but I'm so confident that'll be overshadowed this weekend in Yorkshire.
We're bringing you this event live. We're taking you through every excited breath, every moment of anticipation and every moment of joy right here on BBC Radio Leeds.
The thing is, it's all about people, and this has really generated a lot of interest and excitement in my family and the people that I talk to. I thought it's really bringing people together, and it's been a bit of a miserable time for folk, and this is, you know, the yellow bicycle seems to bring a bit of sunshine.
They said if we built it, they would come. We've built it. We are here in our thousands right across West Yorkshire to welcome the Tour de France to our part of the world, and the world is watching us right now. It is the official ceremonial start of the Tour de France. I'm live on the steps of Leeds Town Hall. It's Liz Green. In the crowd, near the start line, is our Paul Ogden.
And I'm looking at the reigning Tour de France champion Chris Froome and the former British champion Mark Cavendish at the very front of a bunch of the best cycle riders in the world. They're waiting for the signal to ride off at the start of the Tour de France. The sign-in is over. All the 198 cyclists in total have gone back to their team cars, picked up their trusty machines, and have slowly been waved forward by the race commissaires along the hedgerow in the middle of the city of Leeds to wait at the zero sign, the big yellow and red départ sign, and underneath the word départ is the word on all cycle fans' lips at the moment across the world. Leeds is where it's all going to start.
Oggy, we've been bringing the build-up, we've been bringing the excitement, the anticipation, we've been hearing the cheers as those cyclists were signed in, and we're just waiting breathlessly. Gary Verity called it our day of destiny. It is, isn't it?
It is a day of destiny for Yorkshire and all those connected commercially and personally with the counties across Yorkshire. But for the riders themselves, Liz, this is actually a moment of calm. The showbiz is over. Their activities with their sponsors has been intense over the last few days since they arrived in Yorkshire to finish their preparations. And they're underway for the start of the biggest bike race on the planet. The Tour de France Grand Départ rolls out of the centre of Leeds, led by the reigning Tour de France champion Chris Froome for Team Sky, Team Omega Pharma Quickstep, with Mark Cavendish at the front. and the excitement is barely controllable here on the hedgerow in Leeds. There are police officers taking a picture above their own heads of the Tour de France peloton as it rolls out. Fantastic scenes, people in tears, people smiling, all emotions represented as the riders themselves at last start the first of 21 stages that are going to decide this year's yellow jersey in Le Tour de France.
Amazing scenes here in the centre of Leeds. The excitement when those cyclists began, the cheering in the crowds. People are craning their necks to look at the huge television screens which have been erected just on the hedgerow here in Leeds. Also with the crowd, no doubt cheering along himself, is our Richard Edwards.
Yes, Liz, absolutely cheering along. That was a scene of drama like I have never witnessed before. The blue sky, the helicopters circling around this part of the hedgerow in Leeds as the riders lined up on the start line, all those colours, the sunlight glinting off their shades and off their helmets. And yes, as Paul Ogden said, this will be a moment of calm for their riders, but what I detected in those faces is inevitably a moment of flicker, just of nerves, of trepidation perhaps at the massive challenge that lies ahead, and the fact that so many people, tens of thousands of people, have turned out to support them as the helicopters overhead now. They've got to perform. This is their moment as they steam along the bottom end of the hedgerow now. Convoys of vehicles passing by with high performance, high value bikes on the top of those easy to support vehicles that will stay with those riders as they make their way through that punishing Tour de France course. The roar of the crowd was incredible there, Liz. We heard about this being Yorkshire's destiny. Yorkshire has turned out to do it, and those riders got a send-off they will never forget. The people in the crowd experienced a moment that they will never forget.
The atmosphere this morning has just been absolutely phenomenal. And Oggy, just tell us what's going to happen now as they're on their way.
The action hasn't quite finished yet, Liz, because as the 198 riders split across 22 teams, remember there's 9 riders in each team, they have rolled off the start line, but they're followed very quickly by their own team cars. Each team has a designated management car, effectively decked out in the liveries of each of the 22 teams themselves. On the top of those cars are some of the shiniest, most beautiful, enviable bicycles you're ever going to see in your life. I want to touch them. I want to run after them. And actually, a couple of these team cars are lagging behind a little bit. There is a hierarchy of cars throughout the course of the race. The team cars have got to stay in order of the way that their riders finish from stage to stage. But the point of these cars, of course, is that radio messages can be passed between the management sitting in them and the riders themselves. And as often happens, and I expect this to be particularly the case in West Yorkshire tomorrow, once we get through Keighley and that sprint tomorrow afternoon, once we get onto those tricky little hills of Greetland, Ripponden, the one I'm really looking forward to up West Vale towards Blackley, and then Home Moss itself, you're going to get punctures, Liz. The speed with which these wheels are changed by the team management and mechanics is absolutely staggering. They start arguing amongst themselves if it takes longer than a minute. You'll see the rider with the puncture pull over to the side of the road on the right-hand side. That's the European convention for where you need to go if you've got a back wheel puncture. The cyclist who's in trouble will intentionally go into his lowest gear to make it easy for the mechanic to take the back wheel off if it is the back wheel, and suddenly at the flick of a switch a mechanic will appear from out of the back of the team car with a spare wheel, and then you can put your stopwatch on it. It's staggering. 45 seconds is a long time for a mechanic to get the wheel back in, help the rider back onto the bike, and then actually give him a push to get back on the road, because of course he's in top gear and therefore starts off slower. With the team cars up the road now, Liz, here still on the hedgerow in the bright sunshine in the shadow of Leeds Town Hall, we're seeing the team buses slowly make their way behind the race itself. Cofidis with their red and white livery and the sunshine of their emblem. La Française des Jeux, look out for Arnaud Demar tonight in Harrogate. I think he's going to put real pressure on Greipel and Cavendish. La Française des Jeux team bus is going to make its way through the rest of the team cars and eventually be waved on by the commissaires. When you're this close to the race, guys, you realise how much the commissaires, under the auspices of ASO, the owners of the Tour de France, actually control the movement of the race itself and those vehicles around it. It has to be like that because otherwise it would be dangerous. The cheer in the background you can hear is for Team Sky's team car.
Yay!
The happy birthday, by the way, was for Alexander Kristoff, the former Norwegian champion. We saw that earlier on the sign-in podium. He turns 27 today and he'll want to be involved in the sprint in Harrogate tonight once they're through our parts of West Yorkshire that we'll be following right here on BBC Radio Leeds throughout the course of the rest of our day. Now, even the French assistance médicale, les petites ambulances, are making their way behind the team buses and team cars as well. Look out for Christian Prudhomme himself, the director of the Tour de France, who is going to be popping his head out of the top of the red commissaire's car and waving his flag to start the race after that little stop at Harewood House in about 10 or 15 minutes time, Liz.
Be honest with me, even though we knew it was coming, even though Gary Verity told us it was our destiny, even though thousands and thousands of people are right here, right now, in Leeds City Centre on the Hedgerow to watch Le Grand Départ, did you ever think we would have this race in our county?
I have never dreamt it before somebody told me that it was possible. When Gary Verity started making those statements, a lot of us really thought it was a wind-up. Even bike fans across West Yorkshire who know the sport and know how you actually have to negotiate to get the bike race into your hometown. But credit to Welcome to Yorkshire and those around it, Liz. They have made this happen. You've got to understand, as we were saying earlier, you have to understand the Tour de France for what it is. Yes, it's a sporting contest, but it's also a brand. And that's where Welcome to Yorkshire did things right, where others that wanted to stage the 2014 Grand Départ didn't get it right. It's about money as well as sport. And if you understand professional bike racing with all its livery and its sponsors' names on the front of the jersey for that, and that is a commercial product on the road, then you'll get a good relationship out of it.
Paul Ogden is our commentator for the Tour de France. He's talked us through Le Grand Départ, and it might be about money, and it's certainly about sport. But let me tell you, relaxing, enjoying, all of it, all of the hoopla, the ceremony. People are now beginning to move away. We've been really huddled in here. Thousands of people coming together. No doubt they're off to get a drink and a bite to eat along the way. But it is about this community, our county, enjoying one of the great sporting spectaculars on the globe. Tour de France across Yorkshire. Christian Prudhomme, the tour's director, said the crowds were astonishing and had given the tour its grandest ever send-off. And in the Daily Mail this morning, under blue skies and through winding Yorkshire streets, they came in their multitudes, and no one had ever seen anything like it. Even veteran tour watchers were shaking their heads in disbelief. Nowhere was the support more remarkable than at Home Moss, the highest point of yesterday's route. 60,000 people gathered there. And how they got there and how long they'd been there and the reception those riders got on that really tough climb was just amazing. We're taking your stories. Those are just a bit of the coverage in the papers. Not enough in my view after what's just happened here. However, that's what they're recollecting. What are you going to remember from this weekend? 0845 303 3333. Call me, where were you? And if you have a message for Gary Verity, who brought us the tour, 81333 is the text number. Start your message with the word Leeds.
Your station for the Tour de France.
BBC Radio Leeds.
So close to the elite cyclists of the world with the eyes of the world watching. It was just a remarkable thing for anybody. Even if you're not a massive cycling fan, anybody who turned out to watch that over the weekend, just phenomenal.
Where did you see it, Catherine?
I was in Otley on Saturday morning first thing with Johnny, and then sort of saw it building and building and building, and even really early doors from 6 o'clock there was a real buzz and people coming into the cafe where we were and getting their bacon butties and getting ready and getting their position right next to the barriers, and then just that sense of excitement building throughout the morning and more people people arriving, and then finally to see that huge rush of colour as all the teams and the caravan went through. It was just amazing.
It was. Thank you, Catherine Hannah, updating us on the sport. Where were you then over the weekend, and how was it for you? Your stories on Breakfast this weekend. If you want to thank anyone, the tour makers, we're going to find out the trains weren't that brilliant in places. Here is the number. Give me a ring. 0845 303 3333. Gary Verity, the man whose vision, along with his team, brought the Tour de France to Yorkshire on this show after 8. Have you got a message for Gary? When you text 81333, just start your message with the word Leeds, or of course you can tweet me. It's my name with live on the end.
Liz Green.
BBC Radio Leeds. Your station for the Tour de France.
BBC Radio Leeds.
What a weekend, eh? I can truly tell you that I don't think we have ever experienced anything like it. I was so proud of this county. There were various times throughout the weekend. We were live in outside the Leeds Town Hall on Saturday morning, and there were moments there I was just moved to tears. It was just amazing. All started with a big party on Thursday and of course ended yesterday, and in between we saw almost 250,000 people in the centre of Leeds where we were on the hedgerow to see them off. There were 3 Royals at Harwood House and almost the whole of West Yorkshire willing those riders on. Now, to be fair, I don't think any of us had any real idea it would be so spectacular, apart from perhaps the man who brought it here. The Chief Executive of Welcome to Yorkshire, Gary Verity. So let's get a flavour of the weekend just gone. Your stories, 0845 303 3333. Our look back starts with Gary Verity giving us a rousing speech from the arena, the big party there on Thursday, the event which symbolised this magnificent event.
It is a huge honour to welcome you all, to welcome the champions of cycling and the world to Yorkshire. When people look back at this time, July 2014, this will be seen as a defining moment, if not the defining moment for the people of Yorkshire and beyond.
We've talked about it, thought about it, anticipated it, and then on a Saturday morning in July, here it is. It's unbelievable.
God's County offers an outstanding backdrop. Stunning scenery. Yorkshire is gorgeous.
I can see flags from Luxembourg, Norway. There are some Red Devils with Marouane Fellaini wigs on. The Red Devils, the Belgian supporters. Welcome to Yorkshire, guys.
Oh, today's fantastic. The crowd here is amazing. Everybody's really excited.
What do you think it is about this event that's brought so many people out?
Well, I think one, it is the cycling, because anybody can cycle, but I think it's also because it's Yorkshire, and it's the first time for a long time that we've had anything that actually covers quite a lot of Yorkshire, not just Leeds. So it's not just Leeds we're here for, it's the whole of Yorkshire.
It is a day of destiny for Yorkshire and all those connected. And they're underway for the start of the biggest bike race on the planet. The Tour de France Grand Départ rolls out of the centre of Leeds, led by the reigning Tour de France champion Chris Froome for Team Sky, Team Omega Pharma Quickstep with Mark Cavendish at the front. And the excitement is barely controllable here on the hedgerow in Leeds.
Wait for the cheers.
Here it comes.
Kate Mills steps out first, followed by Prince William and Harry.
They are greeted by dignitaries here at Harwood House. They have landed on the cricket pitch in the Royal Purple helicopter. Here they come.
Trailing behind them, balloons. The tricolour and smoke trailing behind them, red, white and blue smoke. Absolutely fantastic.
And here they come, the rest of the peloton, blazing their way down Burrowgate with 1, 2, 3, 4 helicopters above them. White, red, black, a kaleidoscope of colours here in front of me. Bright yellow, fluorescent yellow, dark green. It is a spectacular sight to see these 195 riders now firing down Burrowgate here in Otley. 22 of the world's greatest cycling teams in the world's greatest cycling race and one of the world's greatest sporting spectacles. Certainly nothing like I've ever seen before. And the cavalcade, the huge volume of support vehicles behind cars, festooned with bikes and various parts in support of those riders as they fly past us here, heading down towards the main square and then on to Addingham.
It's Kittel, he's in third position at the minute. Sagan is brilliantly placed, but Mark Cavendish has been distanced a little. Boxing, oh, and Cavendish is down! Cavendish is down! Big crash on the run-in. Kittel's going to get it, I think. Kittel will take it with Sagan second, but Mark Cavendish going down. A huge crash, and by the way, he's holding it. I'm afraid that could be Tour de France over.
Let's go, you can hear the cheer as the cavalcade goes, and there we are. We're underway. Stage 2 of the Grand Départ here in Yorkshire.
It's been absolutely fantastic. The crowds have been amazing. The atmosphere has been absolutely cracking.
Absolutely brilliant atmosphere. We've been up there since Tuesday and travelling around the Dales. Our first visit ever to the Dales, and it won't be our last.
It's just fantastic, and what a great light Yorkshire's shown in. The sun's shining, everybody's so happy that the tour's here. Just having a wonderful time, enjoying it thoroughly.
A blaze of colour flying past us right now. What an incredible sight this is. Absolutely fantastic as the peloton sweeps around the corner heading out of Addingham, and you can feel the energy and the anticipation and the excitement of the crowd here watching some of the world's greatest athletes only feet away from them. What a privilege this is to not only see this but to host this and do the most spectacular job on our doorstep in West Yorkshire.
And here comes the main peloton. Oh, the flash of the TDF rainbow as they come flying through Cannondale. The green team are through. Cofidis follow, and of course the likes of Omega Pharma and our very own, of course, Chris Froome, the defending champion, all making their way through, following the man Marcel Kittel, who has the yellow jersey after stage 1. Of course, no Mark Cavendish in this, but I have to say, this is unbelievable. 2 years ago, the torch went past my house. 2 years later, the Tour de France comes past my house, and West Yorkshire is at the epicentre of the sporting world as we speak, and Keithley has their moment.
Here we go. All day for this moment. This is the main peloton now cycling up. Listen to that roar. As the final few of the main peloton pass us out the fleece. This is the moment that the people of Ripperton have been waiting for. The thousands of people lining the streets right here at Ripperton Bank. This is what they've been waiting for. Absolutely incredible.
Well, that was extraordinary. I mean, talk about feeling like you're a part of history. We use those words a lot, and we have used them a lot over the weeks and months preceding the arrival of the Tour de France in Yorkshire. The feel of that roar, the physical feeling of that rocking people's bodies here, the vibration through you, that was a moment that I don't think many people here, I certainly won't, but I don't think many people here will quickly forget.
What a finish, an electric atmosphere here in the Don Valley in Sheffield. I'm Andrew Edwards in the Don Valley Bowl. But what a climax. Well, Yorkshire's done us proud.
And I think pride, being proud, definitely the words of this morning. What a weekend. And we're